Hey there, Kipsters. We're looking at Objective 1.8.6, simplifying expressions with the correct order of operations. This is Standard 7 AF 1.2, an important one that you've seen in previous years, but definitely will see on the CST. We're going to start by reviewing the correct order of operations, and the reason I want to do that is because you've seen two different ways, probably in your lifetime. The first way you've seen is PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And usually when you hear that, you know that parentheses comes first, then exponents, then multiplication and division, then addition and subtraction. There's two reasons I don't like PEMDAS. The first is that when you see parentheses, you might forget that there's actually several types of grouping symbols that would include. So that includes parentheses, that also includes things like brackets, that also includes absolute value, which is a type of grouping symbol. So parentheses might be inaccurate. The other reason I don't like PEMDAS is because when you see this, you might think that multiplication comes before division, and that addition comes before subtraction. But really, these two things come together. These two things come together. And so to avoid that confusion, I've switched to teaching it a different way using something called GEMMA, going grouping symbols first, then simplifying exponents second, then multiplication and division together third, and addition and subtraction together fourth. So I'm going to show you how I would simplify two different expressions using GEMMA, and then I'm going to ask you to do the same. So let's start with an example without any variables, and you can read it. It says 12 squared minus 2 times 5 plus 8 divided by 2. If I look at this, I don't see any grouping symbols, so I'm already done with that. I do see exponents because I see 12 squared. So that's the first thing I'm going to simplify. I know 12 squared is the same thing as 144, because that's 12 times 12. And I'll just rewrite the rest of the expression. Minus 2 times 5 plus 8 divided by 2. I've now finished simplifying the exponents. I see multiplication and division, so I need to do them in the order that I see them, going from left to right. So as I'm going from left to right like I read, I see multiplication first and division second. So I'm going to do the multiplication first, which is 2 times 5, and that's 10. So I have 144 minus 10 plus 8 divided by 2. I finished multiplication, but I still have division, so I have 144 minus 10 plus 8 divided by 2, that is 4. I now finished the multiplication division step. Last is to do addition and subtraction in the order that I see them, going from left to right. So this is where PEMDAS might make you think, right here, that you need to do addition first, but that's incorrect. As I'm reading from left to right, the very first thing I need to do, you see, is subtraction. So if I subtract, I have 144 minus 10, that's 134 plus 4. And then I add 134 plus 4 would be 138. Now I finished addition and subtraction. That was the first example without using any types of exponents. But the second example I'm going to show you, you can see there's an exponent right here with 2x plus 5 squared and times 3. It says when x equals 3, so it's telling you what the variable equals. The very first thing we're going to need to do is substitute that value in, and then we'll be able to proceed in the same way we did last time. So the very first thing I'm going to do is substitute, and I really have 3 times 2 times 3 plus 5 squared. And now I can use the order of operations to simplify. I'll do this in red so you can follow along. Looking first at grouping symbols, I do see some stuff in the grouping symbols. I see multiplication and I see addition inside the grouping symbols. So the very first thing I'm going to do is the multiplication. 2 times 3, that's 6, plus 5, and I'll just rewrite everything else. Not done with the grouping symbol yet, because I still have 6 plus 5. That would be 11, still squared, times 3. I have finished the grouping symbol step. If I'm looking at this next, a lot of students want to multiply 3 times 11 first. But I know that exponents is my next step, so I need to do 11 squared. 11 squared means 11 times 11, and 11 times 11 equals 121. And then I need to multiply by 3. I've now finished the exponent step. I still see multiplication, when I see 3 times 121, so I need to multiply 3 times 121. Do that right here, because I can't do that in my head. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3. And so 3 times 121, my final answer is 363. I had no addition and subtraction, so I've now completed simplifying this expression. I'm going to ask you to try a couple examples, and then we're going to check all three. So what I want you to do is please simplify these expressions, then you're going to stop after each one, and then check it yourself. So here's your first one. Please simplify this first expression, A, where y equals 5 and z equals 4. Stop the video here. After you've tried it, check your answer. Okay, you've tried A, now it's a chance to check your answer. You know that y equals 5. There's no z, so the only one I care about is substituting y equals 5. That means the very first thing you should have done is substitute it in. Instead of y, you write 5. So that's 5 squared minus 2 times 8 minus, well, y was 5. Your first step is grouping symbols, so you have to do what's inside these grouping symbols and what's inside these grouping symbols. Inside the first set of grouping symbols, you have 5 squared, so that's 25 minus 2 times 8 minus 5. 25 minus 2 is 23 times 8 minus 5 is 3. I've done everything that's inside the grouping symbols. So next would be exponents. There's no exponents. Next would be multiplication. I have 23 times 3. 23 times 3 would be 69. And that should have been the answer you had for this first one. Give yourself a check if you got that. Go ahead and try another. Stop the video here. Simplify this expression, 12 minus 2 plus y divided, 12 minus 2 plus y plus 8 divided by 2 when y equals 5. Stop the video here and then press play once you've finished to check your answer. Okay, it's time to check your answer for B. You just tried it, so there's no z here, so again, the only one you care about is that y equals 5. So you have 12 minus 2 plus, instead of y, you write 5, plus 8 divided by 2. There's no grouping symbols. I'll write it up here just to remind myself. So already done with that. There's no exponents. You're already done with that. I do see division, although I don't see multiplication. So the division is 8 divided by 2. So the very first thing you'll do is 12 minus 2 plus 5 plus 8 divided by 2. That's 4. And now you finish the multiplication division step. The last is addition and subtraction. Since I'm going from left to right, the very first thing I do is 12 minus 2, that's 10, plus 5 plus 4, 10 plus 5, 15 plus 4, 15 plus 4. You should have had 19 as your answer. If you got that, give yourself a check. Good job. Last one, a little trickier, because you have now 2 variables. I'd like you to try simplifying this expression. Stop the video here. Press play when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, you've tried C, now it's time to check your answer. If I'm looking at it, this time you do care that z equals 4, because you see a z, and y equals 5. So the very first thing is substitution. You have 12 squared minus yz, so that means really 5, because that's y, times 4, because that's z, minus 8 times 2. I'll write Gemma up here to remind me how I simplify this. There's no grouping symbol, so that's already done. There are exponents, 12 squared, so that equals 144. And I'm just going to rewrite everything else. And I'm done with the exponents. There is multiplication. I see it twice, so I'll do it in the order that I go, see from left to right. Be 144 minus 5 times 4, that's 20, minus 8 times 2, that's 16. I've now finished the multiplication step. And last is the addition and subtraction. I don't see any addition, so I just use subtraction. 144 minus 20 is 124. And 124 minus 16 would be 108. and 8. That's what you should have had for your answer for your C. Give yourself a check if you got that. Okay, now it's a chance for independent practice. That means I want you to stop the video here, try these 5, and then you'll be ready to check your answers to see if you're ready to retake this assessment for 1A.6. Good luck.